Hey, pass me a beer.
Look, at least promise me you won't drink. Alcohol always leads to trouble.
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
Right here.
You win.
All right, what do I win?
Another beer.
Just have a cup of coffee.
There it is.
Coffee?
Beer.
I'd kill for a beer.
Cheap beer and a sympathetic ear. Step right up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Beerded Hops podcast. We've got a really, really good one.
I'm excited
to tell you all about today.
I'm warm and fuzzy.
We're going to jump right into it. We've got, if you're looking at the correct camera angle at this point.
I am. We're on it.
Yes.
You see it.
Right off the bat, this is the episode Founders CBS.
If you're on YouTube, you can definitely see it. If you're listening to this on the podcast, just use your imagination.
Yes, Founders CBS. There's a bottle sitting here, and right next to it is a bottle of Founders KBS. Before we get into the beer, I am one of your hosts for the show, Chad Jensen, and across from me is my co-host,
Adam.
You can say your name.
I can say my name. Hey, yes, welcome to the show. Thank you. And you're going to talk about that guy?
Yeah, we have a special guest with us today. Jake's been with us before on an episode of The Sessions.
Number 2, isn't it?
Number 2, I believe. Welcome back to the show, Jake.
Thank you guys. Looking forward to being here. Looking very much forward to the beers that you guys brought. And I also think, just as a fan of the show, it'll be interesting to see how the podcast goes now that you guys are here together, as opposed to, you know,
we're not seeing each other over the internet.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see how that plays out. But thanks, guys.
Yeah,
glad to be here.
Yeah, this is the first time we've all been in the same room together. So
Recording. We've been in the same room together before.
Yes, wow. Yes, we
just not recording.
They just met each other. The first time was beautiful.
You want to do a podcast together, man? I don't know you very well, but
Online romance.
Right. Oh, yes. All right, so do you want to tell how this works, since I do it every episode?
Yeah, so what we're going to do, as we have done on every episode in the past, is we would normally review just one beer. We're going to do a little bit differently today because of what CBS is, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we're gonna crack the beer open here in just a minute. We will pour it around the room, get an initial impression. I'm just gonna.
My wife
It's
will
like
be
I've
pissed.
just-
She just mopped in here. She's gonna be pissed off.
It's gonna be just like I won a Formula One race. I'm spraying the CBS all over the room and get. And that Cubs flag.
It could be an episode, though. Get some
dousing.
goggles, put some plastic down, just spray beer.
Start going. Yeah.
So we'll pour it.
100th
We
anniversary.
will sniff it. We'll talk a little bit
You
about
didn't say it right.
the smell it.
Sniff.
Oh yeah, we'll sniff it.
There you go.
That's how Adam always says. Sniff.
Sniff.
We'll sniff it. We'll sniff it. We'll smell it. We'll talk about the color. We'll talk about. We'll get into the actual brew. Take a sip, give an initial impression, and figure out where we're going to give this a rating right off the bat. So
I may waft mine a little bit.
glasses are being
like to
passed
waft.
over to me. I will
Do it.
I'll do the
Boy.
honors. So this CBS came to us by total chance, and I've talked about it on the show in the past. I was at my local liquor store called Ridgeview Liquors. I always like to give those guys a shout out.
Hi,
They might
Ridgeview.
even be listening now because I've told them about the show a couple times. He actually wrote it down the last time. So,
Oh, nice.
so I was at the store buying some other variety packs, and I asked if they had a bottle of CBS. He laughed and said, "No, we haven't had that for quite some time."
He laughed at your face.
And while I was shopping, he came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and he had a bottle of CBS, and I said, I was like, "Holy shit, are you gonna what's this about?"
You kissed him.
And
I would have kissed him.
First, you have to come in the back.
I
How much does this cost?
come back to the office.
Let me show you.
They paid money.
No, I said, "Are you gonna sell this to me?" He's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely."
Nope.
It's yours.
Nope, it's being a dick.
So
Hey, be sure you're lined up on the camera for that pour, sir.
yeah.
Do you know, Chad, did he have a stash? Did you pry any info out of him?
He said he forgot about it. He said he forgot it was in the office.
There was an employee hiding that bottle. You know, that's what it was.
It was dusty, so it had been in the office for quite a while. I'm gonna get the CBS out of the way here for a second. And The
And you guys have not had a previous year of CBS, right?
We've never had.
first time we've had this. Jake, you have had this, so this will be interesting.
You don't get as much as we.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Hey, I will lick the bottle. I'm just that excited to be here. Yeah, I was traveling
yes.
in Grand Rapids on my way to Detroit, and met up with a buddy in Grand Rapids, and he likes to visit founders. And he had found a bottle, and he saved it for our visit. So I had it one time. I never thought I would have it again. It was incredible. And I was just checking UnTappd. It is the highest rated beer.
Yep.
On my personal.
Oh, for yours.
For me.
Was this the most checked in one? Was that right, Chad? We just talked about that.
It's like 46,000. I think I just saw.
46,000 check-ins.
I think so.
Yeah, it's insane.
Highly.
These are glasses we actually got last night. We can talk about what we did last night. We did some brewery hopping last night. But Only Child Brewing, great people, great place, great beer in Gurnee, Illinois. So we all got our matching glasses last night. That was.
Yeah, and I kind of digged them a little bit last time in sessions. A little bit. I want to say it was fun last night.
That is true. That is true. You were like, I didn't buy anything there, so dick.
But I had a nice time last night, and that beer is really growing on me, especially that gray number 5 or whatever.
Gray area number 5, yeah, their cucumber. This just looks.
Guys, I'm telling you, this is smelling really good.
Just look at like the consistency of that, like the thickness of it. It doesn't even. We're not even drinking beer. This is nectar of the gods. This is. I mean, it coats your throat, your stomach. Oh wow.
Oh my goodness. That
There's the
I mean, just breathing it in right away.
the empty bottle
Chocolate.
of CBS. This one's going back with me, by the way.
That's fine.
You can keep
I'll take the Pliny.
the Pliny and the KBS.
Do you have a spot for your favorite bottles, Chad? Do you have
I don't have a spot for them yet, but I've got several bottles that I'm collecting to display, kind of like Adam has.
You could have them maybe behind where you do the podcast.
Yeah.
And that could be
Well,
like your
it doesn't-
wall
I
of
can't-
fame.
I don't think it's going to work the way I have my particular setup right now. So,
all right, so we have an off-colored, very 1.5 2-finger head. Some,
yeah,
you know, it is. You can't see. It's black. You're not seeing through it.
I'm gonna go to. There's a review on Beer
It's
Advocate,
opaque.
and I've been looking forward to seeing how this looks, based on what this one comment. The very first sentence of this comment is, "Pours as black as the night with a huge dark brown head which doesn't collapse at all." And the head. It's been 3 or 4 minutes since we've poured
Not going anywhere.
It's stuck. It smells good.
Coffee. Sweet.
It's very sweet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee-ish espresso.
I feel like as you move it away, you can smell a little bit of chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate for sure.
Mapliness. All right. Are we sipping?
Please, I'm ready. I'm just waiting.
That's magical.
Wow.
I think I just got chills. Like, I don't know if I've ever had chills drinking beer.
I'm sorry. Did you say chills or chub?
Chills. Well,
now it's CBS. The 2000. We're drinking the 2017. This is 11.7
yes.
ABV. And Rate Beer has 100. I know, so it's like it's perfect on Rate Beer.
The
Beer Advocate has 4.67 out of 5. And what was UnTappd?
4.55 average.
I'm surprised it's not a little bit higher than that.
But it's 49,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
49,500 ratings.
That's a lot.
So that carries more weight with
Right.
that many check-ins.
Yeah, without me checking.
No IBU given. It's probably fairly high on the IBU scale, I'm guessing, because CBS or KBS, where this is based from, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, is 70, I believe. So
Really?
yeah, the maple in this probably brings it down a little bit, but I'd be willing to bet this is on the scale. I don't taste the bitterness, but on the scale, I bet it's in the mid to upper 50s.
So I've been trying to appreciate stouts more, and I'm getting there. But I had this in December, And for me, I don't even know if I think of it as a stout. It has such a unique flavor to it. I mean, granted, it has a color, it has a coffee, it has a chocolate. I get that, but maybe it's the mapleness, the sweetness. It just does something for me that other stouts, as I continue to appreciate them, haven't done for me.
Well, I mean, every beer has to be classified as something, right? And it's classified as an imperial stout. Whether or not you taste it as an imperial stout is up to everybody's individual taste. I do get the stout style on my palate, but it's overwhelming. It's a very, very sweet beer, and that comes from where this is born from. So, well, before we get into that, off the bat, what's everybody's rating? Where are you at?
Shit. So now remember, we've talked about this before, right? Rating, and be sure and trying to not rate the situation.
Right.
So prime example was last night. Chad and I and Eric and my wife, we all went to Goose Island Tap Room down in Chicago, and we had some beers. And I don't know, it's probably halfway through the night. You're like, all of our ratings are so high. And then we started talking about, well, can it be where you're at? And so that led me to, okay, so now we've had this CBS for a month now. Have you had it around?
Yeah, about a month, maybe.
We've basically been planning this time for you to come down here for us to have this for like a month.
Right.
And knowing what we've heard from other people and watching Jake pretty much soil his pants when he talked about it, we're trying not to like overinflate it. Overinflate
it, right? Yeah.
But then you're like, you overcompensate, like, it's only a 3.5. Like, I don't know about that.
I think what also perhaps overinflates the score for this one is my knowing that I'm not going to drink it again.
Yep. Right. This is the only time.
Yeah, I mean, unless you happen to find another dusty bottle somewhere.
You trade for it
or trade.
You're not going to find it.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I wanted to ask you guys, and this might be a novice question, but because I heard you talking about it, I don't remember if it was Sessions or one of your other podcasts, but how people will save the barrel-aged Goose Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Are there people that are saving these either because they want it to be even better after it ages, or to sell them later? Is that happening?
All the above. They'll like Eric, he'll have them, and he'll have them to like he just recently did, like he told us he did, where he had the 5 years in a row.
The vertical.
Vertical, that's what it's called.
Yeah, vertical. Mm-hmm.
We did a vertical to see what it was going to taste like. So they'll do that, or they have their seller with the pure intention of selling it to make money or to trade it maybe for something they can't get in there.
So with that in mind, it is possible that I jump online and just pay a lot for it and still find it.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah,
certainly possible. You will. I mean, as time goes on, obviously you're going to pay more for it.
Yeah.
Unless you've got something that, we've got a case of Bourbon County. If we save those down the road, and maybe 2-3 years, we come across a CBS from 2011 or 13 or something, and somebody really wants a Bourbon County rye. There's possible trades that can happen because the beers become much more valuable over time. So. It may not be the last time, but it's probably ultra unlikely. This will be
more than likely.
This will be the only glass we'll get.
Drink this. I mean, I would say it's pretty complex. Like, there's a lot going on when you drink this.
There's a lot.
You know what I mean?
On.
It's like I can't really pin down exactly what and when I'm tasting this. You know what I'm saying?
Wouldn't this be great too if you had enough of it to drink when you want, like at night or something? Like, like people have like an after dinner or like a dessert drink. Like, wouldn't it just about this much of it be perfect? Or in the morning with some pancakes.
In the morning.
I mean, come on, it would be good.
Well,
it's a breakfast.
I mean, the founders makes a breakfast stout, and that's, everybody kind of jokes about the liquid breakfast. I think this is a good beer any time of day.
So,
you know,
Chad, walk us through. What are you tasting, and what are you thinking?
It's just really it's really heavy on the maple. I don't taste a whole lot of the bourbon barrel aging.
Really?
No. It's
I
there.
think there's booziness though to it. I think that's where.
Well, and it's 11.7. So,
but that's also where I pick up a little bit of the bourbon.
Yeah, I mean it's there, but it's overwhelmingly maple sweetness.
And you can also see when you look at the bubbles, like it's hard to tell in the camera, but the top part of the bubbles are lighter than the kind of middle to bottom part of the bubbles, especially if you slosh, you kind of slosh it around a little bit.
And I mean, just the thickness of it. Look how a little bit of the head just hangs on the side of your glass.
Yeah, they call that laciness, the lacing of the head as you swirl it around, and it does. The lacing just kind of crawls back into the beer. It's interesting that the head has dissipated, but it's still, eighth to a quarter inch, and it's just gonna stay there, I think. It's very, very smooth. It's probably one of the smoothest beers I've ever had.
I'm just smiling. I'm just like sitting here smiling.
Yeah,
I'm just happy.
It's a maple
one
espresso coffee. Slightly bourbony for me.
The coffee is not, for me is not as present as some that I've had.
No, that's what I'm saying. The maple is.
Yeah, the maple hit. I mean, you definitely. I can't say hits you because it's not a bad thing. It's a good.
But I think that's a great point, because part of the reason I've been slowly making my way into stouts is, even though I am a coffee drinker, I don't always like some stouts that have that sort of that overpowering coffee flavor.
Absolutely.
But you're right with this. While it's present, it's certainly. I don't think any one flavor is kind of overpowering. They all are kind of mixing together in a very subtle way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, is there one flavor that's sticking out to you more than anything else?
That's why I said it's complex.
Right.
When I'm sitting here drinking, it's like, what am I tasting now? I hit the maple for sure. I hit the chocolate. There's a hint of the bitterness of the coffee a little bit, but that all comes at you at once. It's not like in other beers, like, the front of the tongue, you're going to hit this, and then as you drink it, you get a different flavor. But this, it's like kind of just washes over at the same time. Oh,
yeah, and the oakiness, earthiness of a stout or a traditional stout or porter, even the Imperials are usually that flavor is very, very present for me, and it's there, but it's not. It's like all of these flavors have like the appropriate amount of weight. You know what I mean? From the maple, the coffee, the bourbon, earthiness. It's sweet, but also somewhat bitter.
And I'm guessing for some stouts, like, their intention is for some of the flavors to be stronger than other flavors.
Yeah.
Just as any sort of cook, chef, whatever brewer. But I think that's one of the reasons I like this one so much.
I mean, the primary thing here is the maple. I mean, they take the, and we can kind of segue into talking about the KBS base here, is they take the KBS, which is a Kentucky bourbon stout, as a base beer, and then age the CBS in barrels, old bourbon barrels that once housed maple syrup. So this beer is meant to be a very sweet maple flavored.
Do you guys know
the KBS?
I'm going through some of the articles here. Do you guys know who owned these barrels that they came across? Was this something that founders inherited, maybe from a warehouse or something?
I don't know.
Bought?
I don't know if they'd say.
I don't think they've ever said.
And where is this syrup? I want some of this syrup. Right?
It's Canada. I mean, all of Canada's. Have you ever been to Toronto? You go through the airport in Toronto, and you could buy a vat of maple syrup before you get on the plane.
Only as a kid, but is there syrup aging in bourbon barrels up there? I mean, is that common?
Syrup aging in bourbon barrels,
I mean, it must
Right?
be. I don't know if they age it because it's a bourbon barrel. It might be just something that once a bourbon barrel is used, it's just something that's available to house maple syrup.
There is a bourbon maple syrup. I just Googled. Thank you, Google. A bourbon maple syrup. It's $35 for a bottle of bourbon maple syrup.
I think
That's
when I
more than I
can't
paid
find
for
CBS, you're just going to see me just drinking a bottle of bourbon syrup.
For the Super Bowl, he's gonna have a glass, line it with maple syrup, and put bourbon in it. See how this shit goes. Nummy.
Well, on Founder's website, I mean, all they say is we stumbled upon.
Right.
Yes, it's
maple.
Stumbled upon some bourbon barrels that had previously housed maple syrup.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't know where they came from or really anything about it, but
the mystery adds to the legend.
In that, I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's a totally legendary whale of a beer.
And this literally could be the last time because
Yeah.
I have read where they don't have more.
Their wording is interesting on that because they say this is the final installment of the barrel-aged series, but they might be just talking about 2017.
Well, and they've done this before, though.
Yes.
Right? And they've done it, and they said this is the final installment, and then they kind of got, not a backlash, but they got
People get mad.
Yeah.
Well, they got people, like, come on, do it again. So now they're doing it again.
Pitchforks, torches.
Right. Rush the brewery. So, what's your rating right now?
5. Yeah. Not just because of we've been waiting for it for so long. I love a good imperial stout, and this one has this. It's just has something special with the maple flavor, and I mean, I'm not big on sweets in general, so this is kind of a treat. So that has something to do with it for me as well. I can't not give it a 5 based on other stouts and porters that I've rated a 5.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you're comparing it to other ones.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And yeah, I think because actually, as you said that, I thought of, last night, some of the stouts we had last night. I think there was one of them from Goose I gave a 4.5 or a 4.75. And I don't see how I could rate this any lower. And I don't see how I could rate this on an equal. So I'm right there with you on a 5, I think, too, because
there's nothing bad about it. I mean,
there's nothing where you sit there and go, well, I wish it didn't have this, or I wish it, you're just like, that's really good. And no wonder it's got the mystique and the prestige. It's totally deserving. It's really good.
Absolutely. I mean, it's got great color. It's got a great smell. It tastes wonderful. It just has that.
Damn it, Chad! Why don't you get 2 bottles?
We really should blame this on Jake. He had this.
Yeah,
he had the
right.
Opportunity.
Yeah, you bastard.
I did not have an opportunity to purchase. We went to the liquor store that my buddy got at, and we, because he goes to the same one enough. They had a pretty good craft beer selection, and we asked the guy that he knew, and we're like, come on, really in the back somewhere.
You gotta have some.
And they said no, and I mean, I was visiting him in December. He had picked up this bottle he had found it 8 weeks before I visited him. So approximately, I don't know, October or whatever it was. And when were you guys saying they released this? In March?
It's released
April, March?
November 11th, I believe, was the.
Yeah, this one, the KBS releases in March of this year.
Oh, well, whatever it was. I mean, I don't think it lasts. I think everybody pretty much tries to.
Because when I went to Antioch Liquors and asked them, the guy pretty much just laughed at me. I went to 3 different places, and every time I asked, they giggled and then told me no.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm not going to ask anymore. Everybody's just going to laugh their ass off at me.
Yeah. Oh, well, so maybe whenever they released it, he got it, and then I didn't see him till December 15th. So, it just wasn't going to be there. I rated it last time as a 4.75. I looked that up. I kind of wish I hadn't looked at my rating before. Not that it really matters, but I don't, I don't want to have that number in my head. Yeah. I don't see how I don't rate it as a 5. And I think part of it is what you were saying, Chad, because I've been trying to appreciate stouts, but also because UnTappd just has me hooked on trying different beers anyways. Since I had this in the last month plus, I've had a lot of different beers since then, and beers I had never had before, and
you've had more stouts since then,
and I've had more
because
stouts.
you were never stout heavy before, but now you've been trying to more and more.
I'm trying sours, I'm trying stouts. I want to be able to appreciate different flavors, and I always like trying different things. So now that I've even in that month just sort of increased, my experience, I'm like, man, this is just so good compared to other things I've had. I don't know how I go less than a 5, and seeing as I gave it a 4.75 last time. While there might be some bias because we're all having so much fun with it, I don't think that's a stretch. It would be the first beer I rate a 5.
I mean, it's everybody classifies this beer as world class. So I mean, so what's the Untappd average? 4.55. Okay, the Beer Advocate rating average is 4.67 with 5,200 ratings. So much fewer on Beer Advocate, but as you scroll down, there's several 5s in here. One guy looks like one guy didn't really like it, but almost all of these.
There's always that guy.
Yeah.
Right. There's
always that guy.
It doesn't matter what you're talking about. We're talking about like phones. You're talking about, it's not that good.
Yeah. But I mean, 4.5, 4.8, 4.7, and of course, Beer Advocate has a much broader range of rate.
That guy better have stopped drinking his beer and given it to somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Don't finish it.
Exactly.
If you don't like it, give it to somebody else.
And let me ask another novice question here. Do we know, and this is just something you guys have talked about before, and I've actually learned a lot more about than I knew, which is why I was talking about Boddington's when we were getting started. Do we know, is Founders, they're not owned by anybody larger, right?
They have a 30% share.
They have a shareholder, like somebody who's invested.
Yes,
they have an investor, but they're not owned by.
Yeah, not wholly owned by.
But as far as we know, there's no big German holding company that owns them.
No.
So it's fair to still call them a craft brewer.
Yep. Do they have the craft seal on this or no? I don't see it on the KBS bottle. I don't think it's on these.
And I mean, as you guys have talked about, I think you said there's pros and cons both ways. But it is kind of nice to know that if they're going to call it craft, they really are still craft.
Yeah, I mean, and we're going to do another podcast here pretty soon of the Goose Island, Bourbon County, and there's some discussion that will happen there, about who owns what and what that brewery actually, how some of that stuff should be classified. But we'll save that for the next podcast. But this one is Founders is still considered the craft. I don't know if I would call them independent craft, but it's definitely craft.
Yeah, now you get into like the semantics part of it. Like,
right.
I mean, a lot of these guys have investors, and anymore, you have to have an investor to keep going, right? So,
sure.
Are you going to knock them and say, "Oh, you're not craft beer because you don't have because you have an investor"? I'm not going to knock them.
I wonder at what point they're not craft beer because they're just producing too many barrels.
Well, there are limitations and stages put up that say this is where you stop being called craft beer because you're brewing too much, which happened to Sam Adams.
Boston
yeah, they're supposed to stop calling themselves technically craft brewing. I don't know if anybody really cares though, because they kind of were the big push founders.
Yeah, I mean, I still
Am I supposed to save some of this?
Yes. Actually, let's do this. Hang on 1 second. Hold your thoughts.
Gotta get it away from me then.
So what we're gonna do now, before we all drink this, all of it, because it's like I keep drinking it because I want to keep. But what we're gonna do now, we have a bottle of KBS, which we are very, very, very thankful to our buddy Eric, who we went to Goose Island with last night. He gave us this bottle of KBS that he stumbled upon. I think he told the story in the Hop Slam episode. He told the story how he found these. He had 2 bottles, and I think he was intended to age this one, but he gave it to us. And so, Eric, thank you very, very much. So what we're going to do in this episode now, because KBS is the base for CBS, we're going to go ahead and pour ourselves a small taste or 2 of the KBS to kind of see where that maple syrup bourbon barreling changes it.
Yeah, we'll see if we can figure out if we can actually really taste some differences, and I think we will be able to. I think it's actually going to be very apparent, the difference.
But I am like I said, I don't know if I could say thank you enough to Eric, because without that, we would not be able to do this comparison at all. So it's very cool and very gracious of Eric to give us this bottle. That was really very, very cool. So,
all right.
I have been to Founders out in Grand Rapids.
We are going to, Gina, I totally forgot about this. Gina told me we were going to a wedding in Detroit. And so I'm hoping to.
So it's probably about 2 hours. So if you were to just drive straight to Detroit, you would just sort of drive straight east. Grand Rapids is a little bit north once you hit Michigan.
I'll go out the way.
I would highly recommend it. The place is huge. I went there in the winter. They had like a live band going, just a huge open area, and you're just walking up and drinking beers. But they do have a really awesome outdoor area as well. Very cool facility.
Yeah, that is a place that's on my list. We've talked about New Glarus many times. We want to hit New Glarus, of course. But I think those are the top two of mine for me to, it's not easy to get to, so it's going to be a drive, but those are two I want to definitely hit.
Well, we could, with the family I have out there and now my buddy out there, Adam, depending on when you want to do it, we could make a trip to Grand Rapids. That is a fun little town.
All right, gentlemen. The baby glasses of KBS.
I feel like we're kind of pitting brother versus brother here, or is this like a father versus son?
It's really not like I'm not.
KBS,
it's really a comparison for the sake of this is the KBS is the little one, right? But I don't expect the KBS to rate higher unless I like that flavoring better. But I'm more interested in seeing, okay, here's the KBS, and then when I try the CBS, I'm expecting to really notice the maple bourbon much more than what I did without tasting this first.
And we're pretty sure that that's the only difference in the production of these.
Yeah, I mean, according to the description of CBS, as you read, it's the same. It's KBS is the base beer. CBS is an imperialized version, or KBS is the imperialized version of their breakfast stout. So there's actually 3 levels here. They've got the regular breakfast stout that you can buy anytime, anywhere. The KBS, which is the imperialized version of that. It's available March and April, and then they take the KBS and aged it in the maple bourbon barrels. So,
we do have water, fellas, to clean your palate a little bit if you want to do that before.
I don't know if I can drink water after drinking this stuff.
Can I see that bottle? The KBS bottle? Yeah, so the bottle, I mean, it looks like an old Western, like a
the saloon
wanted sign type of saloon, like wanted thing. So, but yeah, just, highly acclaimed KBS, a flavored stout is good for everything. Everything a flavored stout ought to be good for. An ale brewed with chocolate and coffee and aged in oak bourbon barrels. So this is aged in oak bourbon barrels,
and that's
first.
That gets the ABV up, which gives it the imperial.
What is the imperial? Do you have what is on this?
I have it. It's 11.8.
Ooh,
so that makes sense. I mean, it should be very, very close to the CBS. I mean,
CBS was 11.7.
11.7, yeah.
Yeah.
So it says what we've got here is an imperial stout brewed with a massive amount of coffee and chocolates, then cave aged in oak bourbon barrels for an entire year to make sure wonderful bourbon undertones come through. In the finish, make sure your taste buds squeal with delight. This is the 2017 release.
So we did pour them in smaller glasses. Maybe that, I don't know that would have mattered much. But one thing I noticed right away is, remember how long the head on the CBS stayed?
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, the head was definitely. I mean, it's definitely dissipated here. I don't know. See if I can get it on my. I mean, you have this is the KBS, and then here's the CBS. You can see the CBS still has more head, even though we poured it quite a while ago compared to.
Let's see if I take my camera and look down on both of them.
Look at those camera angles.
So, what the interesting thing is,
it's good camera work.
Good camera work.
There isn't a head necessarily left on the CBS, but there's still a layer of foam over the top of it. I said CBS, right?
Yeah.
KBS, mostly dissipated. A few little bubbles sitting there on the top, but
And look at your CBS search, Chad. Look at, I believe the term you said was it lace? Like you still have some of that?
There's really no lacing on this on the KBS.
There's still lacing on the
but
side
there's
of the
lacing on the
glass.
CBS. Yeah.
Yeah.
So smelling it, I smell the bourbon this time.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee.
Yep.
Coffee,
chocolate.
I didn't really get much chocolate on mine, but now smell them side by side.
Yeah.
Oh.
Careful now.
Wait, I'm gonna do one of these.
It's just the CBS is just. It's sweet. CBS is just has a sweet smell. Go back to the KBS and it's like bourbony coffee chocolate. There's nothing really.
I think you're right. I think that's the
smelling
biggest
about it.
distinction between the two is the sweetness of the CBS versus
Which
KBS.
totally makes sense, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
get the maple syrup, right?
Maple
So,
syrup, yeah.
All right, boys. Cheers.
All right,
Cheers,
cheers, KBS. That's way different.
I taste more bourbon here.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And then
Definitely.
because the CBS you don't. I didn't really get I think did you say, Jake, where there wasn't a whole lot of bourbon flavor to it. I think the maple knocks that down.
Well, and I think too, just with the CBS, all the flavors are so balanced. Whereas with the KBS, you're getting it right up front. I feel like I'm tasting that bourbon right away.
Yep.
Like
It hits
you stealing the word from you. Like it doesn't taste as complex.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It is very good.
It's darn good. Yeah.
It is a different. I mean, you can tell the base. You got the bourbony, chocolatey, coffee, imperial stout taste. The ABV is almost identical. It just doesn't have that upfront maple sweetness. So this is a very good beer. I mean, I'll first taste. I would probably easily rate this one a 4 or 5. It's very good. I really like it.
Now this one it does say it has it's 70 IBU, right? I think you said that before. 76,000 check-ins on Untappd. 4.47 is the average. Number 2.
Do we know how long they've been making KBS? You guys know?
All variants. Let's see. 2004, I want to say.
Yeah.
Is the earliest.
2004 is that you said?
Yeah, I think so. 2000. There's 05, 06, 04. Yep, 2004.
That's weak. I apologize.
You need to leave right now.
I'll show myself out.
I mean,
I'm
stouts.
taking the rest of my beer though.
Stouts and porters they're not as carbonated, so you don't typically get the belching sessions that you get out of any the lagers,
It's been a
pilsners,
very quiet belching
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a sessions podcast. That's where the belching goes
We don't
to
have
lower.
no belch counter on this one. No burp counter.
Look at the chart. There's been far less swearing and belching.
That's true.
Oh shit.
Jake. Damn it, you had to bring that up, didn't you?
Well, as soon
Now,
as
have
any
you-
kids
have
run
you
by,
tasted-
Chad will start swearing.
Yeah.
Have any of you tasted the CBS since trying the KBS yet? I didn't actually go back and taste it. I just sniffed.
Not
I
yet.
haven't gone back.
I'm going to try. I want to go about halfway on this taster glass for me. And I mean, you guys do whatever you want, but I'm going to go halfway on this taster and then go back to the.
See, if you swirl it, you get a little bit of action there on that lace. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish, unless if I'm upsetting the rules of the show, let me know. But
You
I
make
think
your
I'm
own
going to
rules,
finish the KBS first because the last flavor I want is the CBS.
I'm definitely going to make my last drink a CBS.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Which is not a knock on the KBS. I'm enjoying this very much.
Yeah. What do you guys think off first impression rating? I gave it 4 or 5.
I jumped to a 4, and that's knowing that
interesting.
I'm still like I said, learning to sort of have my palate for stouts.
Yeah.
I think it's very good. I would most definitely drink it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of went right to that 4. But for me personally, just because of the beers that I tend to gravitate towards, I don't think it's going to jump higher than that right now. But that, like I said, Next time I see this in the store, next time I see this in a place where I'm able to drink it, I would absolutely drink it again.
Yeah, so I just
compared.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I just took a taste, a nice little swig of the KBS, let it settle, and then took some water to rinse it off, and then took the CBS. And like immediately, just the sweetness of the maple, like it's just so much more profound.
I saw your face. It looked like you got slapped.
Like, whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow, that was... I mean, honestly, drinking the KBS first makes the CBS taste even better. If that's even possible. That's really good.
Well, and I think my KBS rating's being impacted by
because you just had the CBS.
Yes, exactly.
Right, exactly. Yeah, whoa. I'm gonna say 4.5 for the KBS for me right now where I'm sitting. I mean, it's good. I would, if I couldn't get the CBS, but I could get the KBS, yeah, I'd buy it if I find it. But.
Yeah, and then you just have that, little bottle of bourbon syrup. Swig that, get that in your mouth and put this in there.
I'm just gonna make my own, damn it. Did you just mix them?
I just went from KBS to CBS, and I had the same I was like, Jesus, this CBS is so good.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
it's just like last night we were at one of the breweries. Sorry, Chad. Or sorry, Jake. Revolution. We had Revolution, and
you guys are assholes. For the record, they're going downtown. They're like, Jake, can you go? And I couldn't make it work. And they're like, well, we're just gonna check out the Goose Island tap room. I'm like, okay, which I want to go to, but it's not like my personal favorite, whatever. And just that night, wife runs the store. She calls me, hey, I'm going to pick something up for you. What do you want? I'm like, hey, can you give me some Revolution? She comes home with this pack of League of Heroes.
Yep.
Awesome. Brings that home. I'm sitting there checking in Revolution. And what do I see come through Facebook? What do I see come through UnTappd? Go ahead.
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo.
And we got seated right next to
the tanks.
The fermenters.
I did not have all the information when I made the decision. Now, it still would have been difficult for me to come, but I did not have all the information.
So we went last night to Revolution tap room, and we had food. And what was the one?
Very good food, by the way.
What was it called?
I heard about some pierogies or something.
Oh, yeah.
Pierogies,
political...
Yeah, what makes matters worse is they had a beer that is only on tap. Only on tap.
Anyway,
I can't
what
even
I'm
get
trying to get at, though, is that we had this beer. It was a stout.
Is that you're an asshole?
I'm sorry, you couldn't go. We had this beer. It was a stout. We'd probably drink, I don't know, half of the glass. And then we started eating the food, and the food just changed it. Like after I had a couple bites of whatever.
Political exhaustion,
yes. Went back and drank it. It just brought out the flavors even more. And here we are with two beers, one being the base of the other, and it's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But you felt like the beer was better after having some food.
Yeah. I mean, and it's common. It's really not uncommon. I mean, a thing you'll see a lot of breweries do now, which you were with us, right? When we went to Lakefront.
Yeah. We did the pairing. Yeah, that was fun.
The food pairing, just like in wine, brings out different or better. That's so weak. Just stop. Just don't even do it anymore.
It's like I got no balls over here. Jeez. I swear. I'll show them.
It sounds so forced.
I know, right? There's a little bit of puke behind it.
I swallowed that.
But yeah, just like with wine, the food can enhance the wine or the beer, and vice versa. I don't know. I don't know if I expected it with this pairing here.
Do you think that works more with a stout and food than some other beers because it has such a...
So. Yeah. I mean, the stouts and porters are so complex that
there's just so much more flavor.
Food. I think food highly affects how a stout or a porter tastes.
As guys that like stouts more than myself or appreciate them more, do you have any favorite foods that you pair with a stout if you plan?
That's something I really want to start trying to focus on more.
Yeah, because I can't
focus on drinking.
I can't really tell you. You asked me if there's a particular food. No, there's not.
It comes to mind. Yeah.
If you have a chocolate bar or something, it's going to enhance the taste of a stout or a porter. But as far as regular food like entrees,
That's how you do it,
Now
bitch.
you're just showing off.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I drink the CBS, and it just makes me want to have like a big stack of pancakes or something, and just,
Right? Yeah, that's,
and just drink this and have a good old.
Well, this whole series is, I mean, I think I said Kentucky Bourbon Stout before. It's Kentucky Breakfast Stout, the KBS. But I mean, all of these are based on a sweeter. Well, I mean, they would all go well with a sweeter food pairing. And
Well, I'd like to see you guys, you know, if you're looking for a show idea sometime. I'm not saying it has to be a stout, but,
you
you
gonna
know,
come cook for us?
if you guys do, what's that? Sure. Yeah, but do a food pairing, at least an episode here or there. I think that'd be fun.
yeah, that would be
I'll
that
cook.
would be
I
fun.
can cook. I can
Right here we
definitely
got
grill.
some wings. And we're going to try some McDonald's
But-
with this Guinness.
Yeah,
What do you got
know,
on
I'm
drink
sure-
with this Coors and Bud Light?
I was gonna say,
we'll make some hot
you kind of
dogs.
just took the words out of my mouth. I mean, if we're gonna pair McDonald's with something, it's probably gonna be Coors.
Shit for shit.
Hey, listen, McDonald's breakfast is still damn good.
Oh my God.
Damn good. Hey, now I suggest not doing what you said you're going to do. Don't.
Yeah.
That last
I
sip
have
of
one.
KBS,
I got one drink of KBS left.
Yeah, do the direct comparison because that shit is good right
Yeah.
there.
So
Okay.
you're
should I swish water or
Go-
should I just
do
go
whatever
for
you
it?
want. You can do it either way.
yeah.
You're on camera,
You're
so
gonna.
everybody's waiting on you.
All right.
You're gonna
all right.
see.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let the KBS kind of still be there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put this on top
Yeah.
of it and see.
Drum roll, please.
So good.
Yeah.
I mean, it just like coats my mouth in deliciousness. Like
is.
It
it's-
does. It's.
I wouldn't have expected
Even
it.
though they look like a similar color,
Yeah, they're
there's
exactly
just
about
a
exactly
thickness
the
to the CBS that just, you know, a syrupiness. Oh my gosh. See, it's just I kind of feel bad that I'm drinking KBS today. Like it just wasn't
We should.
wasn't a
This
fair.
is off
Bless it,
the
that's so good.
This is off the cuff right now. You should go grab your wife and have her take a sip of this and just. Oh, she's not. Have her come in here and just have her take one sip of this CBS and see. What
It would be
what
curious
her-
to see what her.
She's not here. But the problem is I'm not going to let her sip mine. She says,
I was gonna say. So who's gonna share?
It was my idea. I would share if she was here, but yeah, that would be.
Gina, if you're listening, sorry you're not here. She's actually, she's out getting
Yes, we
lunch
should
for
thank
us.
her.
So.
We definitely need to thank her for what she's doing. She's out shopping for our lunch.
That's funny.
I mean, we've got an
Assholes
entire
drinking CBS.
day planned here. So
Yeah, so this is Chad and I usually see each other maybe once a month because of the distance we live from each other. So he was able to come down and we're recording three podcasts this
at least
weekend.
3. Yeah.
So
Maybe we'll do another 2 or 3 before the Super Bowl tomorrow.
You guys gonna do any sneak peeks on the next beer lineups? Because you guys got quite an impressive
we can give a little
lineup
sneak
today.
peek.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have the KBS CBS here.
Especially for those who are listening, if there's anybody listening live.
Started off with a heavy
Yeah.
hitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
like it.
we wanted to do this first.
I mean, yeah, it was. We were so excited when we got this. It was just like, yeah, next time we get together, it's got to be first.
And then we're also going to be doing. Chad got his hands also on a bottle of Pliny, the Elder, and so we're gonna drink. That's gonna be a show coming up, and we're gonna do a comparison with Two Hearted, since Two Hearted took over first place from Pliny.
8 years running, they were surpassed. So we got to do a side by side. We did the show on Two Hearted. That's out. So we've done a full review on that. So we won't do another full review, but just a comparison. The review.
We'll just review Pliny.
Yeah, review.
Like, similarly, we'll review Pliny, and then we'll do the comparison. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Jake.
I'm gonna go chug like some soda or something after this.
And then, there we go.
Shit.
And then
I'll leave.
and then our last one, which I'm also very excited to
Yeah,
have,
this was a special find.
is the Goose Island Bourbon County, which I'm just looking at it right over there. Some in the corner.
It's just peeking at you.
Goose Island Bourbon County brand stout. We have that one. We're going to review just that one. And then we also have the rye version of that one, which we'll do a comparison.
Now you're just showing up.
It just took a little while for it to work its burble its way back up.
So those are some episodes you can look forward to that are going to be coming soon. For this one, I mean, look, Did you rate the KBS? Yeah, you said 4.
Yeah,
4.
I locked it in as a 4.
You were 4.5. I was 4.5, right?
And I will say I would like to try the KBS again on a day that I'm not drinking CBS.
Yes.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It is.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It does seem kind of mean, right?
Yeah,
to
a little
compare
bit.
it to the big brother who's kicking ass in the market, and then you try, I mean, I'm sure there's some people like that don't like the sweetness and probably prefer the KBS.
Well, but I mean, it's hard for me to imagine somebody that can't appreciate just even a small glass of this. I mean, I think there might be something wrong with you.
I mean, look, coming into this, we knew we knew of the popularity, we knew the whale, right, of CBS, and we were excited about it. I don't. I don't. So, Chad, does it live up to your expectations? Does
Yes.
it surpass your expectations? Like, were you, from what you came in expecting, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
after
great
you've had it
question.
now?
Like before, because we talked about this so much, and you guys hadn't had this. Don't even think about the Untappd rating. Just where does it rate on your expectations?
I would say it's surpassed, and it's probably the only beer that has ever surpassed an expectation for me. I mean, there are beers that I hear of that people say, "Oh my God, it's so good! You gotta try it." Yeah, I like it. But I honestly, when I said I got chills when I took that first drink, I honestly did. I was like, Jesus, this is fucking
Now,
good.
mine, I don't know about your guys', but mine is actually pretty warm.
Yeah, and then we did. Well, that's a good point. Go ahead and.
Well, because we had it in the wine fridge at 55, which is like a cellar temp. We probably took it out maybe 20 or 30 minutes before, right? Before we started
about 20
recording.
minutes
Probably
before
sitting in the room with
yep.
us here.
And was that on purpose, Adam? Were you trying to get it?
I don't know if it.
I wanted to warm up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like we always say, I think we said this on every show, especially with these kind of beers, is that the more they warm up, you different flavors will come out. So I know I just took a swig of mine, and it definitely is warmer, and I feel like there's more coffee notes in mine. My CBS now.
Yeah.
My KBS is gone.
Yep. Mine is
But
too.
in my CBS, I have a little bit more of a coffee note in it as well. Let's come back to that in a second because I did want to talk about. So your expectations, this exceeded your expectation coming into it, Chad.
Yeah,
right?
it's the only beer I've ever had that it's just better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, in going into it, I knew it was going to be good because everybody except for that one guy on Beer Advocate.
that one guy. We need to find that guy and just beat his ass.
I think for me, I specifically didn't watch other reviewers on YouTube and stuff. When they reviewed CBS, I didn't watch it because
I watched one.
I didn't really want to be here, like have their voice in my head when I tried
Right.
it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why a lot of times I don't want to read the label where it says, "Oh, we made this with this, this, and this," because that gets in your head. And you're like, "Okay, well, I taste the chocolate, right? Can I taste it without you telling me that you have it?" Yeah, I got to agree though. I mean, everybody said it was a great beer, and they're absolutely right. Like it's different than what I was expecting. I think I didn't expect the maple
Is it
as much.
sweeter than you were expecting?
I think it's definitely sweeter than what I thought it was going to be, but it's more delicious than I thought it was going to be.
I just say drinking this, it's almost like I'm not even drinking beer.
Well,
it's
it's your-
almost like
well,
a
hold on,
class
it's your-
of
it's
its
your-
own.
That's
a good point. Yeah.
I mean,
It's your second time drinking it.
Yeah.
Right? So the first time you had it, did you know about CBS, like much about it?
Only, I mean, I like I said, I knew of Founders. I had been to Founders. I had appreciated their beer before. I knew I wasn't a big stout guy. Adam had mentioned it to me a couple times, and I had told him I was going out there. He said, be on the lookout for it. And my buddy didn't even tell us he had it. We just get there. We get to his place. It was 4 of us, including him, and he just busts it out. And I'm like, oh shit, this is the beer that Adam's been talking about. And he pours an equal amount in 4 glasses. And just like today, I took a sip, and it was almost like I wasn't even drinking beer. There was just so much flavor. It was a flavor party in my mouth.
Exactly. I mean, I said it earlier, and I don't know if the mic caught it or not, but it's like it just totally coats your palate, and every corner of your mouth is doing something for you.
When you drink it and you let it coat your tongue, there's an oiliness to it, I would say, but totally. You tasted it all over.
It's just spreads everywhere.
I think it's almost bad that I had it again because I had it once and I broke away and I was off. And now I'm just gonna go home tonight and just cry into my pillow you know, because
Tears of sweets.
I'm gonna miss it so much. I mean, it's so good.
But think about it though. But you had it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's better to love and never, you know.
Better to have loved and lost to it than to have not CBS at all. Yeah, maybe. I guess
it's better to have had it and then sit here pissed off because you've never had to hear everybody talk about how good it is, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm very happy that we got this. This is awesome. It did exceed my expectations. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It was so tasty. My wife actually texted me. She's on the way home.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I told her to come in here when she gets home, right?
Okay.
And I'm gonna have her. I do want her to, because she doesn't like stouts.
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to see.
That's why I wanted to see what her impression
I
is.
don't even think.
And after last night, she went on a rant about women and beer. Give her a chance to talk about it. So, I don't think our ratings are going to change, right?
No,
I mean, we're
no.
sticking-
I 5 all the way.
Everybody's on 5s, right? Did we talk much about this? I mean, we had a lot of different links here about the stories of it.
Well, we didn't
Chad, do you know a lot about the history of it or no? I don't.
The history of CBS.
Yeah.
I mean, not other than what we've kind of already covered what I know and how it came about. I mean, 2011, right, was the first time they did this. I think they did it in 11, 13.
Yeah.
And
I don't
now
remember.
is that it? I think it's only been done 3 or 4 times. We didn't really talk much about Founders, the brewery.
Go for it.
So they're based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Been around since 1996 or 7. We talked a little while ago about who they're owned by, or not who they're owned by, but who has a stake in them. And it's not one of the big boys. It's now that I'm saying that, it's San Miguel. San Miguel, is that right? Anyway, they own Maho San Miguel Group. They own 30%. So according to the definition of the American Brewers Association, they're not a craft brewery anymore, because if they're owned by more than 25%.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, that's their definition.
That's it. It's getting. Never mind.
All right. That's no longer 5. It's a 2.
I mean, that's the definition as laid out by the ABA. But it's. They're never going to get that seal. They'll never get the seal. I still consider it, especially CBS and KBS. Breakfast stout, you can get, like I said, you can get that anywhere. But KBS, CBS, I mean, it's totally a craft brew. I mean, there's no way around it. So, they've been around since 1997. In Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan. They sell to the majority of the states, I think, in the high 30s. 340 or 50,000 barrels a year. So they're,
say that again. How many?
340 to 340, 350. So I mean, they do some good volume.
And checking their news on here, for anybody listening that is a fan, they're saying that KBS Week 2018, KBS, will be in Grand Rapids and Detroit from March 5th to March 10th.
Yep, I just pulled that up too. We talked about that on the last
on the Hop Slam episode.
The Hop Slam episode, we did talk about this because they had released that information, and this is one of the first times they're going to have it on tap in both Detroit and Grand Rapids, right?
So they have a tap room in Detroit now, then I assume.
Well, it's going to be. I don't know if they have a tap room, but they one of the things they did say was that it's going to be more available, whereas before it was just in Grand Rapids. The only place you get it on like launch day, you can get the bottles, you can get it from draft, but they're going to try to have it now in more places. Am I right, Chad? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm looking at their Wikipedia, at Founders on Wikipedia, and yeah, they do say, according by definition, this because of the San Miguel 30% stake, this makes Founders no longer a craft brewery by the definition. I think that's bullshit, but I mean maybe not for their major production, but what we're drinking today is absolutely a craft.
Well, like what we're seeing though, and you and I have had like Marco Polo and texting conversations about this. It's becoming clouded, right? as to what is truly craft
It's a
and what
very,
isn't
very
craft.
gray area. Yeah.
Right. And that plays right into the hands, of course, of like AB InBev and Miller Coors. That is horrible.
I think I like the burp yips now. Like it's so in my head that I'm over here. I'm freaking out.
Oh my
freaking
God.
out, man. I can't do it.
That is hilarious.
Don't. Yeah.
It is.
Can we just edit that part out?
I'm not editing that at all. The lines are being blurred between craft and non-craft, you know, and I think like Goose Island is kind of an example of that, you know. What Budweiser is trying to do with the Goose Island, you know, the 312, the green line, they make you think that is craft beer, but that's actually brewed in their, you know, right alongside Bud Light.
Yeah, it's the same facility. I mean, it's they're gunning for the uneducated beer drinker.
Yep.
Who has always had the Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light brand, and they look at a Goose Island 312 and think, oh, this is something different. Oh, it's an IPA. It's craft, right? Well, it's kind of like they're preying on, not like praying to some deity, but
like a predator.
Yeah, like
fangs.
Yeah, fangs, claws. Put my claws in your back with the 312.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
how you doing? Hold on.
I am seeing here, Adam, that it does say they have a Detroit tap room.
Oh, they do. Okay.
And it's inspiration from our Grand Rapids tap room, but with a distinct Motown feel.
Motown.
So regardless if you can get to GR or not, when you're going to that wedding, you could most certainly stop by the tap room in Detroit.
Didn't we talk last night about you and I just going to the tap room and Gina was going to go to the wedding?
Right. I did try to get out of having to go to the wedding. Sorry, Dana, if you're listening, I know it's your wedding. I'm sorry. Sort of. But we
very sincere.
Dana does listen to the show, and she actually posts on the Facebook group. So, you gonna go get her? Yeah, grab her. But we were saying last night. I was telling Gina, can you just go to the wedding, and me and Chad and you know, Eric or whoever else is gonna go? Can we just go to the tap room and drink?
Can I? When is this? Can I?
March. Well, no, her wedding's after the release. So
but it's in March.
No.
No.
Don't ask me what it is.
You don't know anything. You
I just go. But you know, if we want to take a trip to Grand Rapids, man, March 5th, that'd be awesome. Coming. Oh God. So she's not coming because it's gonna take forever.
Priorities.
Oh jeez.
Priorities.
Oh man.
Gonna have to have a talk with her.
I know.
I just sliced my finger open on your door.
Security.
Come here, girl. My wife, my lovely wife here is going to. Come here. We want you to try this. Who's gonna try this? Whose idea was this? All right, you drink Chad's. You're not on camera, but sit down.
Yeah, sit down.
Need you on the camera and the microphone. Mom, let me call you back. So this is my wife, Regina. She is not a fan of stouts.
This is your better half.
Sheesh, by a long shot, yes. She's not a fan of stouts, so we want her to try this and get her opinion. She's not had any of this. So
what am I trying right now?
This is right here, Founder CBS.
Oh.
Country bourbon. I'm not going to tell you anything about it yet until you take a drink, and then we'll talk about see what you taste. Like it? Don't like it? What's your first impression there, Girly?
It's not
Thoughts?
bad. It's not like a go-to beer for me. Yeah, but it's got really good flavor. It changes like when you first drink it, and then the after. Good. Smells good though. It's malty, right? It's like it's not the molasses like we had last. It's like it's got this maltiness to it. Yeah.
So this says here, for the first time, Founders in Grand Rapids has now become Michigan's largest brewery.
Yep.
Founded in 1997, it eked past longtime leader Bell's Brewery.
Oh, I didn't know Bell's was
Are you supposed to drink this warmish? That's what I
Well,
was wondering too.
so
'cause I
yeah,
know that
usually as
changes the
you
flavor
with
of it.
the stouts, the warmness changes the flavor. You'll get more flavor out of it the warmer
Yeah.
it gets. So this is actually KBS.
Yeah.
That's what we got from Eric last night.
Right.
It's actually this.
Is the
They,
base.
they take this and they put it in bourbon barrels that have also had honey
Okay.
barrels. Maple
Oh.
syrup.
Got this man off.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
maltiness
yeah.
is-
That's what that is.
He's done. Give me the rest of your CBS.
Right. No, it's good. I could drink this. I would probably just kind of like sip on it a little bit, you
That's
know.
okay. You don't have to drink it. I'll take it.
Like it's like an after dinner kind of beer.
That's what I think Jake said that too.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just see this after dinner, like sipping on,
Yeah.
like, I mean, bigger than this, but maybe like 8 ounces
Yeah.
or something? Wouldn't that be delicious?
Yeah.
Like, you know, sort of, or make it a big old, you know, stack of pancakes in the morning and sipping on some of this?
I could see it. I could see it.
I'm not saying
My
it's
breakfast beer.
responsible, but
Well, because of your talk last night of women and beer.
Oh, yeah,
I
thank
wanted
you.
to have your opinion on
Thank you.
here.
I'll take one more.
So.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Gina.
thanks, Gina.
We'll have to have it. We should have her on the other two as well. She's not a big IPA fan.
Yeah.
She's growing. We could have her try the
Yeah.
other two as well.
Since we're all here, we should get some initial, just a first impression on some of these whale beers.
Do you know, and speaking of IPA and Founder, are you fans of their all day?
I
IPA?
don't care for it.
I haven't had it yet.
He hasn't had it. I mean,
Have
it's
you had it,
okay.
Jake?
I didn't rate it very well.
That's the first one when I was, you know, learning about Founders through my siblings and stuff who live in Grand
Doing all the
Rapids.
IPA.
At the time, I was really big in the IPA, so that was the first one I really drank, and I think it's a very good beer. And they were already, you know, my brother and sister, they already drink more stouts, and they have a very, you know, wide variety of beers that they enjoy. So I'm kind of chasing them as I'm trying to catch up to you guys as well.
The thing with the session IPAs that I don't like is when I'm going for an IPA, I want it to be hoppy. I want it to be citrusy. And I know the all day is, but it's not like a Hop Slam or a Two Hearted where it's just like not an overload of. I mean, it's not. I'm trying to.
Anytime, Chad. Anytime you want to spit
what I
this
would
out.
say,
Well,
Chad,
the Hop
is-
Slam is an Imperial IPA, right? The Two Hearted is a double, I think.
Yes.
And Pliny is as well. I'm looking forward to trying that. But I don't drink an IPA to drink all day, is what I'm trying to get
That's
at.
a valid point.
I don't, when I want an IPA, I just want something that's good and strong, hoppy, citrusy, and I'll switch to something else. The sessionable IPAs they're very popular. I mean, people that love IPAs, I mean, it's great for those people that want to drink IPAs all day long. I'm not an all day IPA guy.
Right. Have you, Jake? Did you have it? Don't even try to burp. Don't even try. I see you loading one up. Don't even bother, dude. It's gonna come
So
out
reading
so
an
bad.
interesting article here.
Well, hang on. You've had all day IPA?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
something
the
like
first Founders beer. I
Okay.
had. And it was at a time too when I was really into IPAs. So I've always thought it's a good
I need
beer.
to pick one up and try. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, no, I'm just trying to continue to get my learn on here. Yeah, educate myself. And apparently, 2 points here. One, regardless of chatter hating on all day, all day IPA really helped Founders because it wasn't until all day showed up that they really had a beer that could drive them from a sort of larger than just local brewery.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah, all day IPA is what really kind of propelled them.
Yeah. I mean, it was great for the brand. I mean, great for Founders.
And then another thing that I'm seeing here in this article, and this was posted this month, January 23rd. I don't know when the event is, but I'm jealous of anybody in the GR area. Apparently, Founders does something called a cellar raid.
I heard
Did
about
you guys
that as
talk
well.
about this? It's a
No, we
cellar
didn't.
raid, and what they do is it's a 4-day event. It looks like it already happened. So it was Wednesday through Saturday of whatever week the 23rd was. Showcasing rare and never before tapped Founders beers. That sounds like fun.
Wouldn't they only do it at a certain time, or they just randomly just?
You know, I'm trying to figure out if this is a yearly event. It looks like it happened. I don't have a calendar pulled up, but it looks like it happened near the end of January, and it was a 4-day event, Wednesday through Saturday. Right at their I mean, they show a picture right at the facility I went to when I was out there.
Well, I think we need a guys' weekend to Grand Rapids at this point, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. You guys will like my bro. He's a good guy. He's like a better version of me. So. And he can burp.
Well, God, I hope so, because this has been horrible so far.
So I'm at this point where
I'm at a point where I'm afraid to drink this because
I don't want to be done.
I'm on my last drink here.
You know how every show we say we're gonna drink the beer and be sad that it's gone, and then we're gonna get another one. I'm afraid. I don't want, because this is gonna be gone.
I feel like I need like a vial I can hang around my neck that I can pour the rest of this in, so it's always there.
Break
with
instead
me.
of emergency.
Yeah, in case something happens, I can just break it.
You've got probably three drinks left. You got 2. I think I'm on my last. I'm down to the
thanks to
bottom
Gina
here.
for that.
I could stretch
That's
this
true.
to 2, but it could also just be one that really just, one last party. Oh boy.
All right, this is it.
Oh. All right.
Oh, man.
It had to end sometime.
Whoa, that's good shit.
And now it's so much warmer now. I mean, really, compared to when we first tapped it,
We did a very, very good job of not hustling this one away. I mean, obviously, we know why we didn't.
And we didn't put it in the garage, the beer fridge, because that was much, much colder. We left it in the the wine 55 degrees, so it was able to.
And taking an hour to drink, so we each got 250 mils, roughly, of this. And taking an hour to drink that, let those 250 mils warm up nicely from 55 to probably, I'm guessing, 65 to 70 degrees.
I just gotta say thank you, guys. I feel like I should give you a hug.
Well, I mean,
you can afterwards. Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to join us for this special occasion.
Are you staying for the other 2 also?
I will stay as long as I can. I may get the hook.
All right.
We'll see.
All right, I'm going for my last.
It's gone.
That is so good. Thank you, Ridgeview Liquors.
Yeah. You guys
Thank you.
totally.
Yeah. Thank you,
came
Ridgeview
through.
Liquors. Thank you, Eric. I mean, doing
Thank
the
you,
comparison,
Eric.
I think, was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
It would.
Being able to do that, because we'd always been going, okay, well, what's KBS? And then by the time we actually got our hands on it, it would be hard.
I kind of wish I wish I would have thought about it, because KBS comes from regular breakfast stout. So if we could have done
Didn't do the whole.
yeah, just do a
The reg-
lineage from the breakfast stout to KBS to CBS.
Oh, we need to get some breakfast out soon, so all the taste.
Yeah.
Is there.
But I would say, anybody that likes stouts or just wants to try a beer, KBS is a very good beer.
Absolutely.
And for us, or for me, it really showed how good CBS is to drink them at the same time. And that's not a knock on KBS. KBS
No, I
is
don't
a
think-
very good beer.
I don't think anything you're saying or anything we've said is a knock on either of them. They're both, in their own right, having them completely on their own, they're delicious beers.
Yeah.
It just, the CBS is a different variant.
But doing the comparison almost made me appreciate CBS even
Yeah,
more.
absolutely.
I mean, it did.
Yeah. It's they're both delicious beers, and if I can get my hands on them, I absolutely will.
Adam is very handsy.
I'm very handsy, especially when I've been drinking.
That's gonna be a fun afternoon.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello.
So I think we're gonna wrap this one up, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Time to get some food.
I know mine hasn't changed at all. I mean, I already actually put it in at a 5 for the CBS. KBS, I'm holding strong on the 4.5. That was, and like Jake said, no knock on KBS, but when you have,
Well, that's a strong rating.
yeah, when you have a variant like this though that just adds even more flavor to what already has a lot of flavor, you rate it higher.
We'll have to come back at some time, and maybe it's on the show, maybe it's not, but come back at some time and just drink a KBS and rate it again and see how that feels.
Yes, absolutely. Chad, your thoughts before we say goodbye to the fine folks?
KBS 4.5. I just put it on, and CBS easy 5 plus, easy 5. I mean, this is, like I said,
It was an easy 5.
yeah.
It was. There's really no doubt. Especially, I think, like you said, being able to compare it to your other stouts. You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
I
Like
mean,
when you compared, like, even just last night, because it was the most memorable, recent.
Yep.
Like I said, if I rated those last night a 4.75, and this has more flavor than that,
You
can't
not
go a 5.
Yep.
I know we're getting close to saying goodbye here, so I'm not suggesting we get into it right now. But I would be curious, Chatter, to know all time how many 5s do you have, and if you had to separate
two or three, right?
I got more than that.
If you had to separate the 5s into their own rating, where would they fall?
We can answer that now. Go.
If you know now, if that's an easy answer. If it's not an easy answer, maybe we'll say that for another time.
If you give me just a second, I can give you what my 5s are.
I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here.
Yes, I know. Putting them on the spot. And we do have Chicago-style hot dogs afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Cooking the hot dog.
So, I think there's a couple of.
This is the only beer I've given a 5. Granted, I've rated
12.
more than 12, but probably like a tenth of the beers that you've rated or something like that.
Okay, so this one's gonna be easy. The best 5 I've had. Okay.
The CBS is the best 5.
So this is the best beer you've ever had? Is that what you're saying? That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, but it's in the category by itself because I can't go get it again. So there's other 5s that I would consider the best. There's one in particular I would consider probably the best beer.
Yeah, I get that.
Because you can get it.
Because I can get it. 1, 2, 3.
Makes sense.
List off some of your other 5s.
Hold on.
I'm trying to look at mine too. I don't know that I've given very many. Very many a 5.
You guys,
I've got 13 5s.
Look at you. You're such a whore.
And this is going to be the 14th.
He gets around, dude.
So, my UnTappd check-ins, it's nowhere near what some people's are. I've got a friend that's got 2,500 unique check-ins.
That's a whore.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got 335 or so. Okay, so.
So like top 5. What do you think now? Looking at that list a little bit, is CBS in that top 5?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, exclude CBS because, like I said, that's in a category of its own. So top 5, the Stone Arch Vanilla Stout out of Appleton, Wisconsin. That's one that I can. It's just I love that beer.
Okay.
Casper from James Page.
That's good. Have you had Casper?
Oh, we should go get some.
I don't have any, but we should get some for tomorrow.
I haven't had either beer Chad's mentioned.
Yeah, we can get Casper. We'll go today.
Yeah, let's go get some Casper.
It's really good.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not like Boddington's, but it's on that same level.
Yeah. Don't say too much about it, but yes, we'll get it for tomorrow.
Okay, so then I do have. There's an IPA. It's called Electrifly by Wild Ride. That's a 5. I don't have any. Almost all my 5s are stouts or porters.
See, and that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But that's his favorite.
It's my favorite style.
So
yep.
But
so I know you don't want to put them next to each other, but is CBS better than those?
Yep.
Okay.
Anchor Porter's a recent 5.
Yeah.
Just the regular porter.
Yeah, just the regular porter. Yeah, I haven't had the coffee one yet. I know you've got that. I haven't had that one yet. I've got a couple of Irish stouts that are 5s from Murphy's and O'Hara's. So yeah, I mean, there's a 4 or 5 of them right there. Casper's really interesting, and we definitely have to get some for him to try because
we've talked about it many times. That's why I'm like, don't talk about it too much. We've talked about it a lot on the show, but we'll get it for you tomorrow. And,
another 4.
He does have the yips. He absolutely has the yips. He can't even.
Just edit me out of the whole show. Just take me out.
It sounds like Chad's answering a question, but nobody asked. Edit your ass out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll have it. But I looked up on mine just because I was curious. This is the only 5 that I have.
Is it?
Yeah. But right under that, 4.2, which this is gonna change because I don't understand why I did this.
Coors Light.
No. Yeah.
I wonder if I've checked in Coors Light.
4.25. I rated Zombie Dust.
And we haven't had that for a while.
I haven't. We're going to be doing it. We have 2 now that we're going to be rating. Look at her. Holy crap, Gina.
Food delivery.
I know. Look at her.
Nice.
That's amazing. And then I have after
Thank
that,
you, sweetie.
I have Pliny, which we're going to be trying next episode. Pliny the Elder is I rated that as a 4. I still question whether or not I'm going to keep that at a 4. We'll see, because I think to me that's one of those experience things. Because we talked about it before. I was at Russian River. I waited in line at Russian River, my first time ever at Russian River. You know, the excitement of it all. So we'll see. We're going to be doing that one as well. So yeah, this is your only 5, right? Yeah, this is my only 5 too. So we're not the whores like chatter.
I mean, yeah, I've got.
I'm a whore.
I mean, yeah, I can't really say I'm not a whore.
Well, I like stouts and porters. That's my wheelhouse. There's several of them that are just worthy of 5s. There's actually
spread your legs.
If
you have to explain yourself.
Yeah,
no judgment here.
If
you don't need to be so defensive.
I'm not. Fuck you guys.
I think that's the first F-bomb of this episode.
You guys there's a couple on here that are probably going back. I would probably lower my Boddington's rating.
Because you know who owns them, or
well, that's part of it.
Yep.
Actually looking at this list, every single one of these except Boddington's and the Electrifly IPA, they're all stouts.
Hey,
2 porters, but porters is technically a stout.
That's a great point, though, that when you stack CBS against all those, that you're such a fan.
Yeah.
You know, putting into perspective how good CBS is.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you just recently started kind of going into porters and stouts, and I would say right around the time we started in this podcast is when I started actually trying more porters and stouts. So I'm starting to appreciate them more as well. So, well, boys, I think we did it. I think we did the CBS. We've been looking forward to this thing for a long time. So
the CBS KBS challenge.
I mean, well, originally there was no KBS involved last week when we talked about preparing to do this show, right? It was just going to be a CBS, and on our list of shows, CBS was on its own because we didn't have the KBS. So again, thank you so much to Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Awesome.
Thanks for giving us the KBS.
I mean, this just happened last night, so it was.
Yeah.
It was. Perfect.
Thank you to Ridgeview Liquors for having a dusty bottle on the shelf of the CBS. Thanks, Jake, for showing up and coming across the street. I know it's cold out. It had to be a long
Thanks,
walk.
guys. I'm gonna go home and work on my burping.
We'll come back for some Pliny, and that will. I think the Pliny will. I think you can increase your output and volume.
His output of what?
A little concerned about the perception out there.
I'm not concerned about what he's talking
You're concerned
about.
about perception?
No, not really.
I was going to say, there's no way you're
I don't care. I almost dropped an F-bomb.
I don't give a shit with you. Go ahead. No, please. Do it, please. Your daughter's not listening. Jake,
she'll walk in as soon as I say
Ready.
something.
No, only when you say it. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Beerded Hops Podcast. Of course, beerdedhops.com is where you can find us. Scroll down all the way to the bottom of the webpage, and you can see all of our links there to iTunes, Google Play. Finally, at the end of the show.
I mean, that was respectable, but it still sounded like I gotta get this one out.
Sucking in air over here, just try.
You're such a burp whore.
I wish I was.
Go to beerdedhops.com, scroll down to the bottom, you see all the links. You can find us on everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Twitter,
emails,
all that stuff. So thanks so much for listening, and rate us if you could. It always helps out, and we'll see you next time. See you later,
bye,
guys.
everybody. Had fun.
Jake, you gonna say bye?
Cheers.
At least he didn't burp. Those horrible burps. Burp.